You know, we all ask ourselves the big questions at some point, right? Why are we even here? Why is there so much suffering? And how can we actually be happy? These are the questions that have kept people up at night for centuries. Well, today, we're going to dig into some pretty amazing answers found in an ancient epic, a story that might just hold a powerful secret to a better life.
In this quote, this is the heart of it all. See, life is going to throw stuff at us. That's just a fact. That's the pain, and it's inevitable. But the suffering, well, that's our reaction to the pain. And that's the part, as we're about to see, that we can actually learn to control.
So where does this key come from? It's hidden in this incredible story from the ancient Indian epic, the Mahabharata. It's all about a prince who finds himself at this mysterious lake facing a test of wisdom that is literally life or death.
Okay, so let's set the scene. Our hero is Prince Yudhisthira. He and his brothers are in exile. They're exhausted, and they stumble upon this beautiful, pristine lake. But, of course, it holds a deadly secret. This isn't going to be a test of muscle. This is a test of the mind.
When Yudhisthira finally gets to the lake, he walks into an absolute nightmare. His four powerful brothers, they'd all approached the water, they'd heard a strange warning but ignored it, and now they're just lying there, seemingly dead. The prince is completely alone, heartbroken, and now he's got to face whatever did this.
So as Yudhisthira gets closer to the shore, this disembodied voice just echoes out from the water itself. It tells him it's a Yaksha, a kind of nature spirit, and that this lake belongs to him. And yeah, it makes it very clear that what happened to his brothers was no accident.
And then comes the ultimatum. The Yaksha says, "You want to drink from this lake? You have to answer my questions first." If he refuses or gets them wrong, he ends up just like his brothers. I mean, the stakes don't get any higher than this.
And this right here is where the story stops being just a story and becomes a guide for every single one of us. Because the questions the Yaksha asks aren't just tricky riddles. Nope, they are the big questions about what it means to be alive. Yudhisthira's answers are his only way out, but for us, they're a path to understanding what really matters.
So, the Yaksha kicks things off by asking about the very nature of reality. And Yudhisthira's answers? They're so simple, but wow, are they deep. They basically reframe the entire world around us, connecting these giant cosmic events to what's happening right inside our own heads.
So, first question. Sounds pretty straightforward, right? What makes the sun rise? But believe me, the answer has absolutely nothing to do with planets or stars.
Yudhisthira answers, Brahma, but then he defines it as desire, your purpose, the will that gets you out of bed in the morning. Think about that. The idea is that the sun doesn't really rise for you until you decide to rise. Your day doesn't start when the light hits the window. It starts with that inner fire that makes you want to get up and live.
Naturally, the Yaksha's next question is the flip side. If it's our desire that makes the sun rise, then what makes it set? What brings that day of striving to a peaceful end?
The answer? Dharma, which basically means your duty, your responsibility. You know that feeling when you've done what you needed to do for the day? That sense of completion and peace that settles over you? That is the sunset. An agitated mind just can't rest, but a mind that's at peace because it's done its duty, that's a mind that can finally be quiet.
So once he's established this inner reality, the Yaksha's questions get a little more practical. How does a person become great? And the answer, again, has nothing to do with money or power. It's all about mastering the one and only thing we ever truly have control over, ourselves.
The path to this kind of greatness is through something called tapas, or focused self-discipline. It's broken down into three parts. First, discipline of the body. Controlling your actions, showing respect. Second, discipline of speech, choosing your words carefully so they don't cause pain. And third, and this is the big one, discipline of the mind. Actively choosing happiness and cleaning out all that negative junk. If you can master these three, that's what true greatness is all about.
And this really gets to the heart of it. Your mind can either be your best friend or it can be your absolute worst enemy. It's that simple. When you're in control of your mind, your actions, your words, your thoughts, it works for you. But when it controls you, well, that's when we do things we regret. The whole battle for a good life is won or lost right there, inside your own head.
Okay, so this all brings us to the ultimate goal. Because being great isn't really the final stop. It's just the road you take. The real destination is a state of lasting internal peace.
And to get there, we have to understand a really critical difference between two things we often mix up.
So often, we chase pleasure thinking it's happiness. But pleasure is just a temporary buzz from something outside of us, like a good meal or buying something new. It's a firework, bright, exciting, and then it's gone. Real happiness, though, that's more like a deep-rooted tree. It's an internal state of being. It's not something you go out and get, it's something you cultivate inside yourself, no matter what's going on in the outside world.
And where do you do this cultivating? Well, there's this amazing story about a powerful ascetic who spent years meditating alone in the woods. But he ends up being completely humbled by the wisdom of a simple woman and a butcher. And what was their secret? They weren't off searching for enlightenment in some remote forest. They found it by just diligently and lovingly doing their duties to their families right there at home.
Which all leads to this, the ultimate takeaway. Happiness is a conscious choice. It's a commitment you make to yourself right now. It's deciding that no matter what happens on the outside, you are not going to let it control your state on the inside. And you can make that decision this very moment.
So, as this incredible test comes to an end, the Yaksha asks one final and maybe the most profound question of all. It's a question really designed to see if Yudhisthira gets the ultimate truth about life and death.
And Yudhisthira's answer is just stunning. He says the most amazing thing in the world is that we see people die all around us every single day, and yet we ourselves act as if we're immortal. We live as though we have infinite time, always putting off the things that truly matter. His wisdom completely satisfies the Yaksha, the prince passes the test, and his brothers are revived. But that answer, it leaves us with a question, doesn't it? Knowing our time here is limited, how will we choose to live it?